Well, hello guys. This chapter of My Hero Academia was really odd in my opinion. Certain parts of the chapter were just, I don't even know, like this chapter wasn't bad or anything, but it wasn't very special either. So this review is probably going to be rather short because I don't really have that much to say really. I mean, the chapter seems to focus on Twice for the most part, as we get to see him pretty much fall for Toga. She seems to be more collected than he is in times like this, as they're seemingly losing to the heroes and whatnot, and the thought of Toga and Twice together kinda disgusts me, to be honest. I mean, come on Twice, get your hands off of my waifu. Of course, I believe it's safe to say that the flashback, if you wanna call it that, of Toga, Twice, Shigaraki and everyone else is where the chapter is truly at, because we see how Twice hates the idea of being used by Chisaki, especially given what happened to Magni and the other guy, the coin guy. But yeah, anyway, so Twice finds out that he and Toga are to be dispatched to Overhaul to work as his henchmen for whatever reason, and the very thought of that puts him off a bit. Toga seems to be kind of on the same side as Twice, except to her it relies a lot on Shigaraki and how he viewed them as people, which we later find out more about, as Twice just straight up blurts out to Shigaraki that they're human too, and things get a bit more humane from that point, which is interesting to see, especially from Shigaraki. Like, he even takes off his face hand or whatever you wanna call it. So I think this is the first time the villains see his face, at least on screen, so I think that's some progress on his character in itself to be able to show his scarred or damaged face. I really want to find out what that damage is caused by though, because Shigaraki is not that old really, but the scars or whatever that his face is covered with makes him look middle-aged at the very least. So I hope we get to see his backstory, like did he have a really rough childhood, because we know he was placed with foster parents so that no one would get to him through his grandmother, who was All Might's predecessor. Of course, I don't see the backstory happening yet, or anytime soon for that matter, but you can't really deny that it would be really nice to know more about his past in general, even if his childhood isn't it. Back to the chapter though, I really like Toga's way of looking at the whole situation, because while she sort of seems to sympathize with Twice, she ultimately believes that Shigaraki's judgment is what matters, and as long as he believes in them, then she is fine with it. I mean, I guess Twice sort of agreed to that as well, but he definitely did look at things a lot more negatively than Toga, seeing as he did, much like Shigaraki in fact, understand that the Yakuza have no intention of considering themselves to be equals and stuff like that. Now, we need to get to the final part of this chapter, which is at the very end, and this is where I may sound like I'm ranting a little bit, simply because the ending wasn't well executed. Just know that I don't think this chapter was shit, or I don't think it was bad, it just wasn't great, and this ending was almost entirely responsible for that. This guy with the wall quirk, Ironaka, whatever his name is, I don't really remember because names in My Hero Academia is like the bane of me, but he has snapped like out of fucking nowhere and went crazy on everyone's asses, not just the heroes but also the villains, Toga and Twice. Like, I understand he may be a bit emotionally sensitive, like he clearly couldn't take some basic criticism, but like, Jesus fuck, he's a Yakuza and with pretty high rank among Chisaki's people as far as I know, so he should be able to take some verbal abuse, especially when it's as tame as we saw in this chapter. I mean, all they really did was say that he's useless if he doesn't act as a team member, which he didn't. I mean, he almost crushed Twice and blamed it on Twice, saying that he should have been fast or whatever. I mean, I like the idea of crushing everyone, don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to say is that the events should have been better executed, like a more decent build up for him going nuts on them would have been something a little more enjoyable, I guess you could say. Now, this is just of course my opinion. Some people may not agree, and I respect that, so I just thought, you know, that I'd kind of get that off my chest. Again, chapter was perfectly fine, just nothing spectacular, especially seeing how short-lived the fight with Night Eye was. I mean, it was a cool display, but extremely short-lived, which I'm guessing was to display the difference between Twice and Night Eye, or something along that direction. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about this chapter, so I'll be ending the video here. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and as always, if you did, please like this video. If you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. This has been your favorite host, Perm, and I'll see you soon.